Need cheap coins right now? Check out redzonecoins.com. For the very best discount available, use code DIRECTOR for 20% off. Hold up. 20% off? That's cheaper than any other YouTuber. Big ups to redzonecoins.com. Use code DIRECTOR. Yo, what up, brothers? What's up? It's the Director. Madden Ultimate Team fans and Chargers fans, I got a good one for you guys today. Haha, you guys take a look at this Lance Allworth custom card art. Now, I promise you guys, there's a reason why I made a Lance Allworth. I know I'm very suspect to just make Chargers cards for no reason, but take a look at this website right here, the Football Greats Alliance. Now, I'm on a search tab here for a reason. If you guys didn't know, if you didn't watch my last video, EA has signed a deal with the FGA, which is kind of like the NFLPA, that hold the rights to retired NFL players. And what that means is that we have now an opportunity to get so many more legends in Madden Ultimate Team. I'm talking a lot of fresh legends that we've never seen before. Think about this, guys. We got Junior Seau in Madden Ultimate Team this year, something I thought may never ever happen, and it's because he was part of the FGA. And honestly, it really blew my mind. Now, who would be eligible to get a card from here? Well, let's go over here. The only way to look right now is to actually search their name. So let's say I want a Lance Allworth. I'm gonna go ahead and search that here real quick, and then boom! Look right here, Lance Allworth, one of my favorite Chargers of all time. So I decided to go ahead and make some custom card art. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys my top 10 Chargers players that I would like to see come into Madden Ultimate Team via the FGA. Guys, the possibilities are limitless now, because who knows who's going to sign with the FGA at any given point. But go ahead and make sure you guys search in that search bar to see which players from your favorite team are eligible to come into Madden Ultimate Team at this point. So guys, before we get started with all this custom card art, hit us up with a like and sub if you do enjoy this content. The small amount of time you guys take to hit the like, sub, and bell notification helps out a lot. Let's get into this video. Lights, camera, action. My top 10 Chargers legends from the FGA that I want in Madden Ultimate Team. Geez, what am I going to name this video? That title's way too long. Let's start off at number 1 with the man we saw at the top of the show. Lance Allworth, aka Bambi. This guy, dude, the reason they called him Bambi is because he jumped like a deer. He was a really, really good jump in the NFL for back in the day. This man was literally like the Odell Beckham Jr. of his day. He was the hotness. He was one of the best wide receivers in the league. And honestly, man, I've watched a lot of Chargers documentaries. One of my favorite DVDs of all time is the history of the San Diego Chargers. And Lance Allworth is all over that DVD. And one of the guys that really loved Lance Allworth was, funny enough, Jerry Jones, owner of the Dallas Cowboys. He wanted him on the Cowboys really bad. He ended up coming to the Cowboys, so Lance Allworth would fit the Chargers and the Cowboys in this instance. But one of my favorite Chargers of all time, gotta give him the nod. Next up, you guys knew he was on the list. His name is behind me. Ladainian Tomlinson, perhaps the greatest Charger of all time, perhaps one of the greatest running backs in NFL history. He still holds so many records. Ladainian Tomlinson needs to come back into Madden Ultimate Team. Now, we have seen him in MUT before, but it's been a minute. He wasn't in MUT last year, which is kind of strange. He's one of those guys you expect to see year in and year out. I'm suspecting it's because maybe he moved away from the NFLPA and went and signed with the FGA. His name is on that website, man. It's on the list. Ladainian Tomlinson needs to come back to the game. We haven't seen an LT in the era of abilities in Madden Ultimate Team so far. An ability to up, Ladainian Tomlinson with evasive and jukebox and all that kind of stuff would be one of the best running backs in the game. Ultimately, guys, like my favorite player on the Chargers ever, I really want to see him back in Ultimate Team. So here's hoping for LT. Next up, another name that we're not unfamiliar with. Helen Winslow. Now, Helen Winslow is one of those guys you see in Madden Ultimate Team quite a bit. However, he isn't in Madden Ultimate Team yet this year, and he is part of the FGA at this point, so I really would love to have Helen Winslow back. One of those guys that really just, I'm a passer, okay? I don't like to run the ball as much. Of course I would if I had Ladainian Tomlinson, but I love passing the ball, and Helen Winslow would be one of those elite receiving options at tight end that really nobody could pass on, especially for Chargers themed teams. I feel like this year, more than ever, we're going to need Helen Winslow back in the game. I hope he makes his return into MUT this year. Next up, a guy that I'm sure none of you have heard of. John Hadel. Now, you guys remember how I loved Lance Allworth so much at the top of this video? Well, the guy throwing him the ball was John Hadel, one of those legendary Chargers quarterbacks from way back in the day, back in the days of the AFL. He had such a good tandem with Bambi back in the day. I've seen a couple documentaries and stuff revolving around him. He isn't the best Chargers quarterback in NFL history. You guys like Dan Fouts and Phillip Rivers nowadays, but John Hadel was kind of the man back in the day. We're highly regarded as one of the best, if not the best quarterback in the AFL. So we're going to give John Hadel the nod. Wouldn't it be weird if we had a quarterback with number 21? Next up, another guy that probably none of you guys have heard of. Chargers fans watching this video know exactly who I'm talking about here, though, man. Fred Dean, one of the meanest defensive ends in football for a very long time. I feel like Fred Dean, man, again, in a year where abilities are just so important, Fred Dean would be one of those monstrous players off of the edge, man. I feel like it would be an awesome opportunity to bring Fred Dean back into the game. He is on this website. He's highly regarded as one of the best Chargers of all time. Honestly, guys, I'd be super stoked to add him to the roster with Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram, and all our modern-day players in the NFL. Next up, a guy I've seen so much footage of. This dude was an absolute beast. Charlie Joyner. Now, the Chargers could legitimately go from like no wide receivers in Madden 20 to a lot of good wide receivers in Madden 21 and beyond. And it's because of guys like Charlie Joyner and Lance Allworth. Charlie Joyner was one of the best receivers in Chargers history. The guy was fast. The guy had great hands. I've seen a lot of tape of number 18 just making incredible plays, and he was also very, very consistent. Now, obviously, I'm not old enough to have watched Charlie Joyner play myself, but I know he is highly regarded as one of the best Chargers receivers of all time, and I am sick and tired of not having any receivers on the Chargers theme team. So Charlie Joyner, I know a lot of Chargers fans know the name. He'd be one hell of an add to Madden 21. Next up, I know a lot of you guys probably don't know who this is. You know, I barely found out maybe like a year ago. Leslie Duncan, Leslie Speedy Duncan. Leslie Duncan is one of the best kick returners in NFL history. He played defensive back for the Chargers way back in the day when it had those powder blues with the black and white numbering on the side of the helmet. Leslie Duncan would be probably the fastest player in Madden Ultimate Team. Highly regarded as one of the fastest players in NFL history. Playing at defensive back would be pretty crazy. We see a lot of returners in Madden Ultimate Team that play wide receiver. Having one that plays defensive back would be very interesting too, because you're not going to be using up all your stamina, you know, returning that kick and then going back on offense. So I think Leslie Duncan would be quite awesome. He'd be one of the fastest guys out there. He'd be able to keep up with Tyreek Hill and the other speed demons in Madden 21. Next up, I gotta throw some love to the offensive line, man. Ron Mix. Now, Ron Mix, one of the most consistent, one of the beefiest offensive linemen in Chargers history. The Chargers don't really have a lot of good offensive linemen on our team today as far as getting players for Madden Ultimate Team. I think Ron Mix, highly regarded as one of the best offensive linemen ever. I feel, especially in Chargers history, I feel like it'd be really, really cool to see him come back into the game, or into the game, period. You know, Madden wasn't a thing back then, and giving the Chargers a really, really good offensive lineman to add to that unit. But again, in my list of priorities, he's a great player, but I would love to see some other skill positions and stuff like that. And lastly, a player that we've seen in Madden Ultimate Team in the past, it's gonna be Rodney Harrison. Rodney Harrison, I feel like he played a lot of his career in New England as well, but starting off with the Chargers, really part of that incredible defense back in the 90s. I feel like Rodney Harrison, man, would be such a good item this year. We haven't really seen a Rodney Harrison since people transitioned over to safeties as their user. This is the kind of guy that you're going to want as a user, man. Really, really fast with crazy good hit power. He's going to be nimble. He's going to be able to move and, you know, get himself in position for picks and stuff like that too. I feel like Rodney Harrison, this is the perfect year to unleash him back in the Madden Ultimate Team, and his name is listed on the FGA. Well, guys, in the comments section below, I want you to list the players that you want me to make for other teams. I wanted to start with the Chargers because I'll be honest, this card art is pretty hard to do because you got two players, you got two images of the same player. A lot of these players are from a long time ago, so it's really tough to find the images for them. But at the same time, I want to come out with a whole bunch of my favorite legends that I would be excited to have in Madden Ultimate Team for the first time because of the FGA. And remember, if you're wondering who is eligible to get a fresh Legends card, go to that website and type in the name of the players that you're hoping are on that list. If they are, put them in the comment section below and we'll go ahead and choose from a couple names there. Also hit me up on Twitter. I did post that picture of Lance Allworth asking people for requests of players they want in the game. Well guys, thank you so much for joining me. This has been The Director. Like and sub on your way out if you do enjoy this content. We'll see you next time, and as always, bolt up and stay frosty.